do you think Cam's getting enough credit for the Panthers' success?
I don't think so. I don't think that. Listen, when we look at them, Davis was out at the start of the season. We understand that you still got the crew up in there, and we get that they're formidable defensively. Nobody's denying that. But offensively, even though they're solid, you didn't expect them to be 4-2 in my estimation. When you look at New Orleans, when you look at Atlanta, within the same division, you look at the NFC conference, you didn't expect this. But they've got some good victories this year. I'm just looking at some of this stuff. They beat Dallas, of course, at the beginning of the season. They beat Cincinnati when Cincinnati supposedly was on a roll. The Giants is not that big of a deal. They lost to the Redskins. We get there. Then they turn around. They go to Philadelphia, and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are sort of blowing smoke to some degree, propping them up and what have you, sort of disarming him to some degree, because you don't want to sit up there and tug on Superman's cape per se. Not that I think he's Superman. I think he's big time, but I don't think he's Superman. But in the end, when you look at the paucity of weapons, Funchess can ball, McCaffrey can ball, but when you look at the Carolina Panthers, you don't look at them in the same light as you look at Atlanta's potency on offense, New Orleans' potency on offense, the Rams' potency on offense, but yet they still sit here 4-2, and they are 4-2 because of Cam Newton. So I got to give credit where credit is due.
I think Cam Newton gets exactly the right amount of credit, actually. People all know what he is at this point. Of a certain type of quarterback, the high draft pick guy who's athletic with a big arm but not accurate consistently down the field. Blake Bortles jumps to mind, Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Deshaun Watson, maybe a little bit different body type, but you understand the idea. Of that kind of quarterback, Cam is the best one. Cam is Superman in that respect. But in a way, the question is he a dead-end player? Meaning, he got you to the Super Bowl. I think of James Harden in basketball. He's an MVP. Everyone knows he can carry the team. Is he the guy you want in the playoffs? Now, for different reasons. Cam, Harden is an extremely skilled player. Cam can make a lesser team better than they ought to be. But can he put a good team or a great team over the top? I thought he was Mickey Mantle, the Yankees Hall of Fame center fielder once upon a time. It was his league. His peers voted him the best player in football. He was about to win the Super Bowl. And when in the ultimate moment, he didn't jump on the ball. If you're a guy who's not consistently accurate down the field, if you're the best example of the athletic, big-armed guy who does that, and he is the best example of that, then in the moment of truth, you got to jump on that ball. And he didn't do it. The question, we have to extrapolate a lot, small sample sizes in football. Does that reflect something about him? My answer is maybe it does. I need to see more to be convinced in those kind of moments. We know they got McCaffrey. That helps the offense. It helps Cam. No one can do it by themselves. Cam can do more by himself than just about anyone else. Can he put the team over the top? The answer is we don't know, and I think everyone thinks the same thing about him.
I think that's the last leg of this, of his career and where we're going to place him when it's all said and done. I think he gets the right amount of coverage and the right amount of, attention for his skill set and the things he brings to the table. But I think the last kind of notch that he needs to achieve for, I'm sure for himself, but for us sitting at this table and people and fans at home, is winning that big show, performing at the highest level and performing to the best of your ability and winning the Super Bowl and getting your team there and winning it. I think that's the last leg for him. Does he get the right amount of attention? Absolutely. He's a baller. He's a stud. But the last leg of this, from a fan perspective, is he has to win the show in order for us to look at him in the same breath in the categories of the Drew Breeses and the Peyton Mannings.
I will say this. Listen, he lost the Super Bowl. One of the ways in which I think he took an unfair hit is who he lost to. I know that he should have dove for the ball but you going up against Von Miller and that defensive Broncos crew. You ain't lose some scrubs, okay? You lost to a special defensive team that year. That's number one. Number two, when I look at the Carolina Panthers, their leading receiver is Funchess. The man has 374 yards receiving. Cam Newton is your second leading rusher on this squad. He's a playmaker that finds a way to get the job done when he needs to for the most part. If you had high-powered weapons available to you, like the Patrick Mahomes of the world and others, I would get it. But nobody's accusing him of having that available to him. Yet somehow, some way he gets it done. That's why I think he deserves a lot more credit.
Max.
A lot of credit.
Right? I don't think Cam, listen, I've been a skeptic of Cam. I think Cam has shown a ceiling. But I don't think Cam gets enough credit for what they've done over the last year and a half. And Max, I think you gave us all the evidence we need. Not in your lack of support for him, but your answer. You're focused way too much on one play. And let me explain. This man right here, he's answering my doubts. 11-5, 4-2.
65% completion rate under Norv Turner this season. This is what people have doubted. Can you deliver the ball accurately? He's winning. His numbers are through the roof. He's not getting credit for where they've been the last 2 seasons.
Look, I think he is, but that kind of like sticking your finger in the wind and seeing which way the wind is blowing is not an exact science. It seems to me he is getting the credit. It seems to you he is not. That could be a difference in you read those 2 articles and I read these 2, or we're watching TV at a different time, or our friend groups are different, you know.
Group chats.
In terms of what the reason I think that one play is important with Cam is we know he's a team carrier. Whether or not he does it in a traditional way, he can carry the team. You're saying there's evidence now that he can hit certain benchmarks in terms of his accuracy.
He's raised his game. He's raised his game.
Okay. He's also getting a little older, and he's going to have to adapt. A lot of players, as they get older, are going to have to do that. Fine.
Which means they got to put more weapons around him in order for him to be successful as the older he gets.
Sure, absolutely. And I think Funchess is pretty good, by the way.
I agree.
But the point is that that
good.
may be the high end. If you're saying maybe he can get even more accurate, okay, fine. But what I'm saying is a player like Cam, where the question is, can he be just accurate enough? Can you put the weapons, all that stuff? The question's going to be, since we know he can carry the team to the moment, can he get it done in the moment? Since it's not going to be by threading the needle all over the field, it's going to have to be by those kind of plays in the moment of truth. And until I see him in a playoff game jump on the ball, I have questions.
Only thing I want to say is this. You say he's off the charts. Listen, he's a career 58% passer, completion-wise. It's at 65%, so it's off the charts for him.
Yeah.
But when you use words like off the charts in just a general perspective, Drew Brees, 77%
Did I
of
say
his
off the
passes, 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That would happen to be more off the charts. That's the definition of it. Justice Kane.
Did I say off the charts?
I'm just saying.